take your fears, your insecurities, your worries, you roll them all up into a ball, you turn those son bitches sideways and stick them straight up, then candy out!
Pick your goal and stick fucking to it. You wishy-washy motherfuckers. I can't fucking stand you.
I wanted to make sure that out of the 24 hours of the day, that I don't waste one single hour. Those hours were too precious. And so there I just want to tell people, don't give me this thing, I have a difficult time with the time and I don't have time for this and I don't have that. You have time. You make the time.
And now, welcome to the Be Informed, Live Fit podcast, sponsored by FitnessInformant.com.
About how I triple my fan base, net worth bench. Can't say there's worse, bitch. Do something.
What's going on? Welcome inside the Be Informed Live Fit podcast. I am your host, Fitness Informant, founder, CEO, Ryan Buckeye. I want to thank you guys for stopping by, checking out our newest podcast, which is 2019 Mr. Olympia Fallout. Basically, our takeaway from the weekend in Vegas. And it was a weekend and a half. As you guys know, we did not publish an episode post-Olympia because, quite frankly, I was dead. I was dead from Vegas. And we were going to dive into that here today in the podcast and really give you sort of in-depth analysis on what we thought of the 2019 Olympia in terms of a business decision to go there if you're a brand, in terms of the decision if you're a brand like us, and the feedback that we received as a brand and some of the different products that we tried in Las Vegas. First off, let me just start the podcast episode with my pumped up segment of the week because I can't hold this anymore. This week's pumped up segment of the week is being brought to you by Built Fast Formula, award-winning VasoBlitz pumping there. Not only is VasoBlitz the winner of our 2018 Shield of Excellence Supplement Award for the best pump product, it is also the first nitrate formula fully disclosed with 30 servings, not scoops. When VasoBlitz is consumed daily, even on your off days, it will last you a full month. All this for only $34.99. And as a special offer to our listening audience, use coupon code INFORMANT to save 15%. Mystery flavor Full Blitz will be coming out soon from Built Fast Formula. I ran into Matt Coleman, CEO of Built Fast Formula in Vegas, and he handed me a little white powder packet that I need to try and check out. But I'm pumped up because, as you can tell from the video, if you're watching via YouTube, and maybe even if you're listening, you probably can tell in the sound just a little bit, is I'm in a new office, a brand new office here in a brand new home. Just moved in, when this podcast publishes, I moved in last week. And basically what happened is I went to Vegas on Thursday morning, got to Vegas about 8 o'clock in the morning. I didn't leave Vegas until 6:30, 7 o'clock Vegas time, got home, got back to my old house at midnight on Sunday. On Monday morning, I woke up, I drove to a title company, and I closed on my old house at that point with the new sellers, or the new buyers. Then we spent the entire Monday basically packing our shit up in boxes, and on Tuesday, drove to another title office, closed on my new home, which I'm in now, and then proceeded to move all my shit from the old home to the new home. Several trips, but I'm here. I'm in my new office. This thing is great. You guys watching on YouTube probably can see it's a lot more clear. It's pretty sweet, and we have a lot of decorating to do, but I'll tell you right now, my office is pretty dope, man. It's huge. It's big. I have a TV on the wall. Like, literally, as I'm recording this podcast episode, I am watching NFL Live right now on ESPN. It is something, I envision kind of building this office into sort of a man den-esque, if you will. I'll have my professional wrestling memorabilia up on the walls. I'll have my bodybuilding stuff on the walls as I proceed to compete and step on stage here in the spring. And then my roots in Wisconsin and some of the sporting teams that I like. So I'm pumped up that I'm here. This is a beautiful home. If you follow us on social media, you've seen some of the photos, you've seen some of the videos. Listen, anything in life is possible. I tell you that, and it's not cliche. It is not fucking cliche. Anything in life is possible if you stick to something. You work your fucking ass off. You make the proper decisions in life to put you in a position to be successful. That's the biggest thing. You make the wrong decision, you can fuck yourself for a life. And a lot of people do that. And luckily for me, I've made plenty of bad decisions, but I was able to rebound from those decisions. And you always hear people say, like, failure isn't a bad thing. It's how you respond to failure and how you come back from failure. And I've failed a lot. And here I am, 3 years into Fitness Informant, built a brand new home with my loving family and my wife. And we could not be happier. And I'm pumped up to be able to have content here. I have a recording studio down in the basement in terms of our YouTube studio. And I have my recording studio here in terms of the podcast right in my office. Now, like I said, there's probably some sound absorption stuff I need to install in here. But luckily, I have this microphone system. So hopefully everything goes well here. on the podcast. But man, I am pumped up. I'm pumped up to be back home. I'm pumped up to be here. It's turning to fall in Minnesota, so the temperatures are starting to cool off a little bit, because in Vegas, the temperatures were not cool. There was a lot of hot temperatures. And again, like I said, we are going to get into that here in just a minute. This week's Genius Moment of the Week is being brought to you by the Genius brand. The Genius brand offers high-quality supplements with scientifically proven, clinically dosed, all-natural ingredients. With a blatant disregard for profit margins, the Genius brand focuses on creating innovative, industry-leading wellness supplements to help you live an active, healthy, and long-lasting life. Supplement smart today. Check out full reviews of the Genius brand, as well as news and in-depth product education tutorials over at fitnessinformant.com. One of the underlying themes in Vegas this year that I preached to brands was I am more and more interested in what we call general health supplementation. Pre-workouts are $40, $50. General health supplementation is half that. But we as a society and as a general public decide that our best use of our dollars is spent on those performance powders. That's not the case. So my Genius Moment of the Week this week is spend money wisely on supplements and vitamins that are going to contribute to your overall health goals. A pre-workout. Now, if you say you only have $60 into your supplement budget, which for me, if that's all you have in terms of disposable income, you should probably invest that in something else. But if you're going to buy a supplement, why make it a high-stim pre-workout? Why do it? You know, why not just go ahead and buy yourself a nice multivitamin? Because we talk about, you know, in this world, how our food system is all messed up. We don't get the nutrients that we used to get once upon a time. And I've talked about that here on the podcast. But my Genius Moment of the Week is this. Put your money to use. It doesn't need to be a test booster. It doesn't need to be a pre-workout. It doesn't need to be a BCAA. You're better off buying a multivitamin and fish oil capsules, because those are things that are actually going to contribute to overall well-being and general health. And that's something in this world that we neglect quite a bit as a society and as a bodybuilding community. Is it's always about muscle first, fat loss second, or fat loss first, muscle second. But it's not about cardiovascular health or kidney health or AST levels in line, you know, or hormones in my case. You know, I did the TRT episode, which got a huge amount of feedback from people. It was highly successful, and I've helped people from that episode get in touch with their blood work, or getting their blood work done and getting in touch with a medical doctor, an endocrinologist, or a hormone clinic to discuss their options. And that is how powerful this podcast has been. But I need people to take a step further, too. It's not just your endocrine system, because obviously people are probably seeking out a reason to get on anabolics. People should be seeking out a reason to be taking a multivitamin. I guarantee if you go through your list of your dietary intake each day for the better part of the last week or two, you are going to be deficient in many vitamins and nutrients that you should have, whether it's iron, magnesium, vitamin D, vitamin B12, whatever it might be. You are going to be deficient in something. And by something, I mean some things, plural. A multivitamin can really, really go a long way. This podcast, guys, has been trucking along, and I'm stoked of how far we've come. We have a lot to be excited for here on the podcast. Coming up, we're going to have Jazz, the CEO of bodybuilding.com. He'll be on a future podcast episode. We're going to have more personalities within the world of fitness and nutrition. There are plenty of people that I know in this space, and we're going to bring you guests across the spectrum. I'm looking at CrossFit. I'm looking at keto experts. I'm looking at everything to give everybody sort of a well-balanced viewpoint on fitness, health, wellness, nutrition. So that's things to look forward to. So today's episode, again, our takeaway from Vegas, our takeaway from the Olympia, look ahead at Athleticon next year, which is October, which is The Rock and $7 production and Vicky Garcia, which is pretty much going head-to-head with the Olympia, and our take on whether or not Athleticon is going to be successful given the trajectory of the 2019 and the trajectory in general of the Mr. Olympia competition. We'll be right back after this.
The BAR Breakfast at the Ready is finally here. The world's first protein bar made with real cereal pieces from some of your favorite cereals and the best cereals of all time. This bar has 20 grams of protein, only 20 grams of carbohydrates, with 5 of them coming from sugar, and 4 grams of fat, 190 delicious calories that you can fit in at any time. Any person can take this bar, man, woman, child, whether you're working out, you're training to build muscle, or you just need a healthy snack throughout the day. The BAR is your solution. Go to redcon1.com and order the BAR Breakfast at the Ready right now.
With the amount of hard work that I put in, I need a reputable brand.
I absolutely love this stuff.
The energy is amazing. The pumps are ridiculous. The flavor is absolutely delicious.
I was blown away by the amount of energy, the muscle pump.
It keeps me going throughout the day.
Take your workouts to the next level.
The energy was so crazy for me.
Really gives me the boost I'm needing in the morning.
You will train harder, you will see better pumps, you will go longer in the gym.
The quality of the ingredients makes a difference.
Try Rise, you're gonna love it, I guarantee it.
Their products are top of the range, and I'm very proud to be a part of Team Rice.
For the last 2 decades, we have been the best kept secret of the supplement industry. We've kept our heads down and worked. We pioneered full label transparency and full therapeutic doses because we believe that truly hard work requires truly effective tools. 2 decades is a long time to commit to one pursuit, but when you act with purpose and become centered in yourself, eventually you realize that you were born and bred for this. The things you once thought impossible, you now do every day. We don't like the easy way, it just doesn't feel right. We'll take the long, hard road over a shortcut any day. It takes longer, sure, but in the end, you know you earned it. And with the right team behind you, pushing yourself further than you've ever been would be just another afternoon doing what you love most.
Pretty crazy that over 10,000 guys have now called Superhuman pre-workout the best pre-workout on the planet. But this did not happen overnight. In fact, here's the entire history of Superhuman pre-workout from the very first edition of Superhuman Health Juice all the way to our latest edition. And we have been obsessed with perfecting this formula every step of the way. And the reason that Superhuman pre-workout is so good is because it is the first formula in world history max dose in the 5 pillars of a perfect pre-workout. So you are literally guaranteed to see faster muscle building and fat loss results. So tap the link to receive 20% off your first tub using the code NEWGAINS. And I am so confident you're going to be blown away by Superhuman pre-workout. I want to offer you a 365-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to lose.
Guys, we're back here in the studio of the brand new fitnessinformant.com studios. Listen, 2019 Olympia. First off, I'm sure if you're listening to this, you probably either attended the show or have heard some feedback on the show. And if not, here, I'll kind of fill you in. So the Mr. Olympia Sports Nutrition Expo and bodybuilding competition is what in America is the biggest in the space, because the Mr. Olympia title itself is so important to the world of bodybuilding. And that includes the Open, the 212, the Classic Physique, the Physique. For women, it is everything from physique, figure, bikini. I mean, there are so many different categories. And it's awesome. I mean, that is the place and the stage that you want to step out on. So for those of you maybe not familiar, I come from pro wrestling, and most of you people probably know that. For me, the ultimate, the granddaddy of them all in pro wrestling is WrestleMania. If you can get on stage at WrestleMania, Madison Square Garden, if that was a thing or still is a thing, which is not, that would be the fucking ultimate, okay? The Olympia is the ultimate. This is a Super Bowl of bodybuilding. It's what the bodybuilders strive to be on stage for. it's not, I would say it's not the thing that attracts everybody within fitness. And, we talk on other episodes and other podcasts that I do about the differences in sports nutrition expos. Listen, the Arnold has, I think, 10 times foot traffic than the Olympia. Why? Because it pertains to a larger group of people. And what I mean by that is the Mr. Olympia is bodybuilding. That's it. It's bodybuilding. There's nothing else to it. The Arnold Classic has bodybuilding. It has strongman. It has CrossFit. It has fencing. It has gymnastics. It has so many different. It has wheelchairs. There are handicap disabilities. There are so many fields of participation at the Arnold Classic. It just brings a plethora of people, and it brings a different appreciation to the world of fitness. Because I'll tell you right now, a lot of people who are highly, highly involved in, say, CrossFit, probably have no fucking interest in going to Vegas to the Olympia because they don't care about bodybuilding. They don't believe in that type of lifting style, or it just doesn't interest them. People like me and maybe some of you listening, bodybuilding is what we love. This is the type of training that we incorporate into our daily lives. So I fucking love the Olympia. I also love the Olympia because it's in Vegas in September. The Arnold is in Columbus, fucking Ohio in March. It snows. I live in a climate in Minnesota where it snows 9 months out of the fucking year. I don't want to go to another place where it snows. So Vegas is beautiful. Vegas is great. The parties are better. The atmosphere is happier. But I'll tell you right now, the show is not as good as the Arnold. It just is not as good as the Arnold Classic. Now, I've been to the Olympia now 3 times. I'm trying to recollect. So this is my second time with Fitness Informant. The first time I went when I was with supplementwarehouse.com. The first year I went to the Olympia was 2014, and that's when Kai Green and Phil Heath were at the pinnacles of their careers, going head-to-head on stage. There was drama to the Olympia. Ultimate Nutrition was still a thing. Amazon was a title sponsor. That was 2014. Then in 2017, I went representing Fitness Informant. I couldn't get a brand to sit and talk with me. Not a single brand would take a meeting with me. I had to walk to the booths to take a meeting. This was 2017 was the last year Ghost was at the Olympia. They had a booth at the Olympia. They have not done a booth at the Olympia now in the past 2 years because they don't see the return on investment. I will tell you the difference from 2014 to 2019 in just 5 years is dramatic. In 2014, there were so many booths backed all the way up. Now, let me just lay out what the Las Vegas Convention Center looks like. I mean, it's your prototypical massive fucking convention center. You walk in, it's super long, and they try to jam in as many booths as they can because they make a ton of money on it. But that's part of the problem is they charge too much fucking money, I believe, for these brands. That brands are starting to pull out. Therefore, there's lack of attendance from the brand stand. And there's also a lack of attendance then from the consumer standpoint. So I will say from a show perspective, from an actual sports nutrition expo show perspective, this was, in my opinion, the worst Olympia in history in terms of the ones that I've been to. Now, it was mighty nice because we could walk. Now, at the Arnold, you were arm in arm with people. It was fucking hot. If somebody lit a match in there, you're fucked. In Vegas, plenty of room to walk. The booths were spread out. And don't get me wrong, there were lines at booths. A lot of the booths had lines. Jay Cutler was at the Trifecta Food Systems booth, I believe, and he had a line. Mark Wahlberg was at the, I can't remember the name of the fucking company. There was a line, okay? Mark Loebleiner, Outright Bars, MTS Nutrition, had a mini line. Brian Shaw, Raycon One booth, had a line. So the right personalities still had a line of people. But there just was not a ton. You could move. You could fucking move freely. And what was apparent was that there are brands who look at these sports nutrition expos, specifically the one in Vegas, the Olympia, and is now starting to make the cognitive decision that it's just not worth it for them and their bottom line. There are a couple of reasons. First off, one, it's very hard to track return on investment at the Olympia because you invest all this money on a booth. In the terms of Olympia, you spend, $10K on the booth space. You spend another additional $2, $3K, whatever it is for electricity, okay? Then you have to equal that. You have to match that in advertising. So now you're already up to like $25K. Then you have to fly in your people, put them up in hotels, feed them, and on top of that, you have to give out samples. It's a trick-or-treat convention. Brands are in 6 figures deep, easily, to do these shows. And how the fuck do you know if one of those customers or people that came to your booth is going to A, remember you, or B, buy something. And the only way to really do that is if you provide an experience within your booth. For example, Bang, as much as I despise the marketing strategies behind the drink, it is a phenomenal business. Bang does one of the best jobs at expos. Loud music, sexually dressed women, handing out cans of Bang, people walking the expo floor, feeling and looking cool with Bang, unicorn, whatever it's called. Bang does a great job at what they do within the field. You know what brand was not at the 2019 Olympia this year? Bang. Why? Because they even see it as a waste of investment. Now, I heard, I don't know if this is true, but I had heard that Jack Owak, CEO of Bang, told the Olympia, I will come and I will exhibit at the Sports Nutrition Expo, but you need to pay me. You need to pay Bang to come exhibit at the Sports Nutrition Expo at the Olympia. Now, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if it's false. But it would not shock me because of the value that Bang has in the brand. Now, I've said, though, we had this conversation with multiple people in Vegas. Do people really spend $50 on an Olympia Expo ticket just to see Bang? I don't think they do. Does Bang bring something extra to the expo? Yes, it brings excitement, it brings energy, and it also pisses off a lot of brands because the brands who get booths next to Bang can't hear themselves think. Bang was not there. A lot of big brands weren't there this year. There was no Muscle Tech booth. Kodiak Nutrition, which has had booths there a long time, and I know Greg personally over at the Muscle Sport team, they were not there. They were not there in terms of exhibiting. They were there in terms of themselves, but they weren't there exhibiting. Ghost was not there. They did an event at a pop-up event at GNC in the Venetian. We went and visited those guys. Much more successful for that brand because people can go into the GNC and purchase products at full price, interact with the Ghost team, and Ghost is only out what they spent in terms of travel for their team because they brought their entire team in except for Christian Guzman and Max Chewing because they were busy. So they had all their other athletes. And then they threw an epic party, an epic ass party that I attended that I realized real quick, I am not in my 20s anymore. Those boys over at Ghost, Dan Larenko, Ryan Hughes, you two motherfuckers, you guys have it. You have it. And if you don't have it, you sure put on a good face because I guarantee I put on a great face until 4 a.m. and that was it for your boy. So watching the decline, not only in brands participating at the Olympia, but also foot traffic, another reason outside of the fact that not everybody is attracted to bodybuilding is cost. First thing you said is you can't track ROI, right? Like on these samples, you could hand out a coupon code with the samples and then go ahead and lag 3 months and see what you had in terms of conversions, or you can sell product at your booths. I know that people do that too, but it's just very hard to track. A direct attachment to that is it's expensive. I was just going through the cost on this thing. It is just an expensive piece of your marketing budget. Most of these supplement brands, they don't have budgets like that big. Not every brand has a budget the size of Redcon 1. Now, that's not a shot at Redcon 1 at all. They know how to market the fuck out of that brand. They are the best marketed brand in the business, hands down. There are a lot of good brands out there that market well. Alpha Line markets fucking extremely well as well, digitally. They're not there. So instead of investing that $120,000 to $150,000 in an expo booth, what brands are going to do is they're going to spend a fraction of that on Facebook and Instagram and actually make money. It makes more sense. The fact that we now live in a digital world changes everything for these sports nutrition expos, specifically the brands. Brands don't feel obligated to go to the Olympia and to do product launches or to go to the Olympia to have interaction and engagement with their fans because there's platforms like Facebook and Instagram that allows fans to interact instantaneously with your brand. Why the fuck do you have to spend all this money to interact with your consumers? Now, with that said, there are people who still like to face-to-face interaction with their consumers. I get that. I'm the same type. I like to have face-to-face interaction with my partners. That's why I go to Vegas. I go to Vegas for a couple of reasons. One, seek out new business for FI. And two, to make sure that I'm doing all I can do for current business and who we work with, to see my partners, my boys, my girls in this space. The Olympia has not changed much in the years. The only thing that's changed for the Olympia is the investment, the cost. It's actually now more expensive to travel to Vegas than it ever was. Still not crazy, but still more expensive. But the Olympia committee has been through a turnover like fucking crazy, and they're still trying to figure their shit out. Now, I'm honored and happy that we are allowed to be a media partner and a press partner for the 2019 Olympia. But I would be doing a disservice to people if I didn't explain how I felt the Olympia went. For brands in attendance, I've heard feedback. Some brands say it was a really good Olympia because they actually had time to converse with people. And that's great. But since we live in a digital world now, you don't need expos like the Olympia and Arnold to do crazy product launches. You can do a product launch on a fucking Thursday at noon, on a Wednesday at midnight. Redcon One, Ghost, NutraBio, all these great brands in this space have been doing product launches after product launches after product launches in 2019 without the aid of any sports nutrition expo. Those three brands that I listed are three of the most respectable brands in this space, and also probably the top three brands in the 2019 Fitness Informant Brand of the Year award. The only brand of those three that was there was Redcon. Why? Well, Redcon's a massive fucking brand. Redcon also has to make sure they show face for several of their partners, Vitamin Shop, GNC, etc. And Aaron still finds value in these expos. Now, why? They're selling product. A lot of people like Redcon One stuff, man. If you saw them at the Arnold, you'd see that they ran out of product in day one. It was nuts. So there are some brands that do a really good job at these expos. But you don't need the expo to be successful. Now, out of those three brands, not one launched a new SKU, a new product at the Olympia. In fact, I cannot name one single product that launched at the Olympia. Not one. Now I know Performix, we met with them. They have a new pre-workout coming out. It launched technically at the Olympia, but via their website. But there wasn't a lot of noise about it. There wasn't a lot of noise about this new SST pre-workout prior to the Olympia. And we just first learned about it when we were there, meeting with the Performix team. Now, I love what Performix is doing. I love what they stand for. So, it's kind of cool to see them do something after 2 years of silence. But outside of Performix, there was a couple new bars. I believe Animal had a couple new bars. There was not a ton of noise in terms of new products. Now, you can check out other websites out there that may have covered the Sports Nutrition Expo maybe a little bit more closely. But from my standpoint, there was not a lot of new products being launched at the Olympia. Why? Because you just don't fucking need it. So the excitement of attending Olympia is to see all the different brands that are there, meet some of your favorite fitness influencers and celebrities. But that's dying down too. There was no Chris Gethin, for instance, who's a huge name in the space. Bodybuilding.com was not at the Olympia this year. Bodybuilding.com was there. Chris Gethin would be there. And so would people like maybe Steve Cook and some of these other big names that are attached to these brands. But we just didn't have that this year. Now, does that mean the Olympia is dying? No, not necessarily. But I truly believe that the Olympia is struggling. And they are struggling hard. And what's not going to help the cause for the Olympia is Athleticon. Athleticon is a new sports, fitness, and entertainment expo that'll take place in October of 2020 in Atlanta, Georgia, being ran by Danny Garcia and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, $7 Productions. We're going to take a quick break, and after the break, we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about Athleticon. We're going to talk about if it's a real threat to the Olympia and what the Olympia might need to do to make sure that they put themselves in positions to be successful moving forward. Because, quite frankly, people, we do live in a world right now where the Arnold could become the #1 title in all of bodybuilding.
So this is it. The new flavor is in production as we speak. We've been hyped about this for months and the time is finally here. So let's go check it out. In here. This is it. Galaxy Burst. This flavor has a burst of candy with a hint of tart, leaving your taste buds begging for more. It's fruity and creamy, yet sweet and tangy. After months of testing and formulation, this galactic flavor is sure to take over the galaxy. Now let's give it a try. So good.
Hey, what are you doing?
Oh, time to go.
Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? Right? I mean, October of 2020, you might be smelling The Rock and his ex-wife, Danny Garcia, their business partners now at $7 Production, stomping boots to the fitness and sports nutrition field. Because one thing that $7 Production knows is sports nutrition expos and bodybuilding shows. They actually were with the Olympia for several years, and they had a falling out. I don't know what happened, but they had a falling out. And if there's one thing I know is that whatever Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, touches seems to turn to fucking gold. Why? Because he's the man. Dwayne Johnson is the fucking man. I love him. I have a man crush on DJ. It goes back to my wrestling days. Anyway, I heard a lot of brands in Vegas at the Olympia talk about Athleticon and talk about how they want to be involved. Some really big, major brands. Because it's new, it's exciting, it's Atlanta, Georgia. It's not just fitness, but also entertainment. Combining the two together. I mean, there is an opportunity there to do, and you can see within sports nutrition, that's already started to happen. You know, DJ Khaled with Pro Subs, Steve Aoki with EVL. There are brands out there seeking partnerships with those involved in entertainment because it's a good brand fit for some people. You know, you got guys like Mark Wahlberg, who's attached to their line. Now, you know, I'm not going to talk about the line, but he's attached to a line that's sold in grocery stores and whatnot. But it's a new way of attracting audiences because if you can attract a crowd, people, and then you can attract them into a sports nutrition expo, and you can attract them to whatever type of shows you have. It might be a bodybuilding show with Kai Green type style posing. Have you ever seen Kai Green fucking pose on the streets of New York City? It's remarkable. The dude is the most gifted bodybuilder, you know, in terms of posing routine I've ever seen. I don't know what they're going to do. All I know is your boy at FI, right here, me, reached out to Athleticon and offered to help with the show. Because I think we need an injection of fun in this field, an injection of something. Now, the Olympia is classic. The Olympia is beautiful. The Olympia in bodybuilding is still the granddaddy of them all. But the Arnold's more fun. The Arnold attracts more people, so why not throw another show exactly 1 month after the Olympia, ran by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and give the Olympia a run for their money? That's a big old fuck you to the Olympia. So however happened with that follow-up between $7 Production and the Olympia must not have been good. Because I will tell you that when The Rock was there at the Olympia, it was fucking cool. When he had Phil Heath, his 7th Sandow, I was there. He towered over Phil. The people went crazy. They loved it. They thought it was great that The Rock was in Vegas for the Olympia. So why not run your own show? Athleticon, October 2020, I think is going to be successful. I do. I think it's going to be successful because that's the type of confidence I have in $7 Production and what they're going to do. That's the type of confidence I have in the feedback from the brands I talked to in Vegas about the show. Everyone wants a part of it. A lot of people have already reached out and inquired about being a part of it. That's got to be exciting for The Rock and his team at $7 Production. So what does the Olympia do? I think for starters, they need to reduce pricing. They need to give brands more of a reason to show up. Maybe cut down this requirement that they also have to spend equal amounts on advertising, if that still exists. That's what I've been told. Make the Olympia fun again. I'm not trying to be political, but make the Olympia fun again. Maybe get some, this year's Olympia, for example, in terms of bodybuilding competitors, was a down year in terms of the open, okay? No Phil Heath, no Kai Green. You had no returning champion in Sean Roden because of everything going on. You had Hadi come in from India who killed it. People's champ, baby. Took third overall. Now, this is not to take anything away from Brendan Curry or William Bonac, who finished first and second, respectively. They looked great. But they're not beating Phil Heath at his best. They're not beating Kai Green at his best. I don't think they're beating Sean Roden at his best. So the field needs drama. Bring drama back to the bodybuilding show. If you're going to stay with classic bodybuilding and not expand, I'm totally cool with that. But inject drama into it. Make it a WWE style type of event, which the results are legit, but the drama leading up to it maybe has a little bit of scription to it. Now, what I mean by that is, take a look at Jay and Ronnie. These guys liked each other, but there was drama through their DVDs. Kai and Phil, drama. Drama all over the place. Arnold and Lou, there were drama with everybody. It's what attracted people to the shows. What is Phil and Kai going to do? Are they going to headbutt? Are they going to touch heads on stage? They did that. They made it entertaining versus just stepping out, posing, and going to the back. Now, listen, I understand. That's the way classic bodybuilding typically is, but you add an entertainment aspect to what we're doing, more people are going to give a fuck. More people are going to want to attend that. More people are going to see it as a destination that they want to attend, turn into a vacation, spend some money, and have fun. These guys, these competitors, they go, and I was told this from Jay, they go and they train overseas, and they don't show themselves on social media, and they stay covered up. That's tough because guys like Jay said he would go everywhere in a stringer and shorts to make sure people were well aware of how big this guy was. And even Sean Roden, who won last year, would always wear like sweatsuits to appearances. Show your shit off. Show people what you're working with. So do I think Athleticon poses a real threat to the Olympia? I do. And I'm not alone in this. There are a lot of people who think that it poses a real threat to the Olympia. And what's going to be great is this year in April, I'm traveling to FIBO over in Cologne, Germany, and I'm going to get to see another perspective, the largest sports nutrition expo on the planet. I'm excited about that one. I'm excited about that one and seeing what is this all about over here. Why is it so exciting here? What is it that we're missing in America that they have in Cologne, Germany, that draws such a large attendance of brands and people? American brands, a lot of American brands there. Obviously, a lot of American brands do business over there, but it's important. Guys, I don't want to be negative. I'm not trying to deter anybody from going to the Olympia, okay? I'm not trying to get my credentials revoked. But if anybody from the Olympia committee is listening to this, listen, inject fun back into your show. There weren't lines outside the convention center like there used to be. Brands are not lining up to throw money at you like there used to be. Quite frankly, you need to get your shit together. Give brands a reason to travel, to pay, to bring their team. It is your job now to sell the Olympia. Once upon a time, the Olympia sold itself. Brands sought the Olympia out because they thought that was the place to launch a brand, launch a product, to accelerate a brand. That's what it used to be. Then the internet blew up. Social media and direct-to-consumer websites took over. And now the Olympia did not adjust with those times. The Olympia stayed the Olympia. And brands started realizing they could spend $100K better elsewhere on social media marketing and digital marketing. Olympia committee, give brands a reason to show the fuck up. Because if brands continually start to back out, and they will, trust me, they will, the people are going to notice. And the people aren't going to spend $50 on a pass to walk in there to see a handful of brands that they can just go online and learn more about. So what does the Olympia do? How does the Olympia inject fun back into it? Make the expo more of a place, of a destination. Now, I understand they have, like they have some of the prejudging there, 212, men's physique. Like, that's really cool, and that part was all packed. But the nice thing about, say, the Arnold Classic is they have some of the strongman competitions out there, get them involved more in the crowd. How do you involve the people more in the expo itself? Do the people get a vote? Do the people get to contribute? As of today, they only get to vote on the night in New Orleans, which was packed, by the way, for the Open Championship, for the People's Champion, which was, like I said, Hadi won the People's Championship belt, sponsored by my boys S-Force, which this watch, by the way, is fucking dope. S-Force is the way to go, formerly known as Soul O'Clock. I want the Olympia to do well because selfishly, I love going to Las Vegas in September. I do. Vegas is my shit. I love Las Vegas, Nevada. But I want the Olympia to do well because it's just good for the business. It's good for the industry. And if the Olympia can't do well, you know who will? Rocky Maivia, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He will do well. And yes, Fitness Informant will be going to Atlanta next year to attend and cover Athleticon 2020, the inaugural, the premiere. And I have a feeling it's going to be epic. And yes, we will be attending FIBO. We will be attending the Arnold Classic. And yes, we will still be attending the 2020 Mr. Olympia. But this is a call out to all the sports nutrition expos out there, the Fit Expo, the Europa shows. You guys need to find a way to inject fun and incorporate the people more. Give people a reason. Give brands and people a reason to show up. Now, if you look at some of the way those shows are ran, they're probably more economical in terms of investment. Some of those shows you don't have to fly your whole team to. There's been this traditional mindset that the Olympia is the place to be, so you need to fly the fuck everybody in and spend all this money. Listen, I flew my entire team into Vegas. I did. I did it for different reasons. I wanted 2 of the 4 guys that are with the brand to experience this industry, to appreciate what we are doing as a brand. Because I'm going to end the show on that. The level of appreciation, the level of respect that we received from the brands in Vegas was amazing. And I really wanted to use Las Vegas more so as a temperature gauge for Fitness Informant to say, do brands and people actually give a fuck about what we're doing? And the feedback was overwhelmingly yes. This industry needs people like Fitness Informant. It desperately needs FI to keep brands honest. And the people love it, and the brands love it. We're going to be around fucking forever, people. We're not going anywhere. I will continue to hustle, bust my ass, and work hard to make sure that we are putting out the right information so people can make informed decisions when it comes to their health, fitness, and nutritional needs. That's the mission statement. We had about 16 meetings in Vegas. I mentioned this in the opening, 16 meetings. Most of those meetings were with new brands that wanted to work with us. Brands who love what we're doing. And yeah, I hung out with a bunch of brands that we currently work with to make sure everything is good. But the more knowledge and the more information we can bring to market and bring to the people, it only helps people make better decisions. And the fact of the matter is, I want to help people change their lives. I want people to be so happy and so excited that what they just spent their money on, there's a value there, and their money's actually going to work hard for them. So yes, I love coming to these expos, and it was very successful for us as a business. FI was very successful. There were a lot of distributors there and retailers there that they say that this was one of the best Olympias they ever had. But in terms of the actual expo floor and the show itself, it wasn't. This is why a lot of brands are not buying booths in Vegas. They are just flying to Vegas, getting a hotel at the Renaissance, and taking a bunch of meetings inside that Renaissance bar. A couple other cool highlight takeaways from the Olympia Expo was the new the new Voodoo drink from Raise Energy. We got to try that. Got to see my boy Chris Gronkowski over at the Ice Shaker Company. The official Fitness Informant Ice Shaker Cups are now out at fitnessinformant.com. They're amazing, by the way. I got to see all my boys and girls within this space. Family is what they are. Got to run into Jay Cutler, my boy. Very busy. But again, in terms of like product launches, there wasn't any really new product launches. Like I said, Voodoo was the coolest thing for me because I love orange, and that's what it tastes like. So that'll be out here in a couple weeks, which we're stoked about. The Olympia was successful for Fitness Informant because the temperature gauge was through the roof that what we're doing is needed, makes sense, and wanted. We took great meetings with new brands that you'll see show up on FI very soon. Took meetings with existing brands that are going to be amplifying what they're doing in the back half of the year. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming out from the Olympia for us personally as a brand. But for me, I just think that the Olympia needs to start to do a little bit more to make sure brands start coming back in. Give brands a reason to attend. They're no longer seeking you out. You need to seek brands out, and you need to start selling them on the benefits of being at the Olympia. That's what you need to start to do. My next show, my next expo that I'll go to will probably be either the Fit Expo in January over in Los Angeles. Otherwise, it'll be the Arnold, which will be March, which is fine. I will be traveling to New York City, I believe, for Performix House here soon. We did meet with Performix at the Olympia. They have some cool stuff that they're doing, which will bring you some of that content here to Fitness Informant that we're excited about. And we'll have a brand video that'll be publishing very soon, which features us in action in Vegas at the Olympia. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast. We're on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. Make sure you follow us on our social media channels. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. We are going to get some guests coming up and lined up here. Like I said, Jazz, the CEO of bodybuilding.com, will be here on the Be Informed Live Fit podcast soon. Make sure you check out the other podcasts that I'm on too. We have the Iron Jungle podcast featuring the Vanilla Gorilla, Drew Peters, and myself, and the Two Guys, One Shaker Cup podcast featuring business insider Josh Shaw. Go to fitnessinformant.com now to check out our website, fitnessinformant.com/store, to get all the new merchandise, which includes shirts, headbands, and the brand new Ice Shaker Cups, which again are absolutely gorgeous. Until next time, everybody, this is Ryan RJ Buckeye, CEO, founder of fitnessinformant.com. We hope you were informed. We hope you live fit. And we